Since 1992, Genesis House has been helping real people heal from addiction on their private recovery campus in beautiful Palm Beach County, Florida. Their family-owned program is accredited by the Joint Commission and offers detox and dual diagnosis treatment in a comfortable and confidential setting. At Genesis House, they focus on treating the underlying causes of addiction. Their comprehensive approach includes psychiatric care, individual and small group therapy, trauma healing techniques, and holistic care including yoga, massage, and animal-assisted therapy. After treatment, their clients enjoy the lifelong support of a nationwide network of Genesis House alumni. Call Genesis House today at 1-800-737-0933 to speak with someone who understands. Visit them on the web at www.genesishouse.net. It's time to start your journey to a long and successful recovery.
Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, presents the Friends in Recovery Saturday Shares, as they share their stories about the real issues of addiction, treatment, and recovery.
Recovering addict, my name is Rob, and I'm alive and clean by God's grace. You know, I've been going to some in-person meetings, and so I've gotten used to hearing some feedback, so it's kind of funny now doing a Zoom meeting and sharing again. I was looking at the screen and all of a sudden the reading is going and I'm starting to get emotional. And man, I'm tearing up over here. I had to get my little towel because I'm just moved and humbled by the fact that, you know, I am also an alumni of Genesis. So it's not like Rob Hooper, you know, the clinician from Genesis. I'm an alumni, and I'm real clear that I'm an addict in recovery. Thank you, Ed, for asking me to come, and it is just great to see so many of you guys. I saw Travis somewhere. Travis, you have no ideas. Tears just started welling up seeing you on the screen, you know. You guys have no idea how much you shape and move my heart. And to see you showing up lets me know that this is what it's all about. And Shay, you know how we do. Hey, you know, because that girl crazy, y'all. Tonight, I actually wanted to really get into the solution and talk about steps 10, 11, and 12. And I just really wanted to do some laser-like focus and hit some highlights on it. When Ed told me about this meeting, I was like, cool, I'll do it. I had no problems with it. However, prior to getting here, guys, it's the holiday season. It's the holiday season, and somewhere I just heard it read in How It Works. They said alcohol is a drug, and then Skylar chimed right in. She took the words right out of my mouth. Say what? Alcohol is a drug. Don't get it twisted, you know. So I was invited to a holiday party, and guys, there was plenty of drinking there, plenty of drinking, and like I'm real clear, I'm a blackout drunk. I don't just have one beer. I don't have a glass of wine. Like I'm taking everything. I was the guy that went to parties and I hid their liquor and their beer. And I was the one that was leaving their party with their liquor. People would ask me, hey, Rob, where's the drink? You know, so like I'm real clear. It's only for the grace of God that I'm here. And I got to keep that in the forefront for myself. And so like with step 10, it says, we continue to take personal inventory. And when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. So the spiritual principle with step 10 is perseverance, because it takes ongoing practice to keep looking at myself. That's not always easy because I can get jaded with how I want to see me and not look at the reality of how I'm showing up day in and day out. Incidentally, guys, I believe I shared it with Skylar at some point. There's actually an app that you can download that is specific to the 10 steps. So you can do a 10-step inventory every night using this app. And it's very simple and easy. The NA IP for the 10-step, I got it somewhere around here. It is really, really long. It's called Living the Program, but it's extensive. After you do it for a while, it becomes second nature. But in the beginning, it seems like, oh my God. Well, the thing about the 10-step is this, and some people say, you know, man, haven't I done enough work at looking at myself? And for this addict, it's important that I'm real clear not to be hard on myself when I keep looking at myself, because the 10-step is talking about a personal inventory. And I can get real hard on myself. Well, I didn't do this today. I didn't call anybody today. How can I not call another recovering addict? How can I not reach out to my sponsor? How can I go through the day and miss so many things that's on the pamphlet? What I'm real clear about today is Rob gets to do at least one thing for recovery every day, every day. However, when I look at this 10-step inventory, it's important for me to look at me with compassion. And sometimes that's difficult for me because I tend to be very critical, very harsh, and very judgmental, starting with me. And the other thing about it is when I'm looking at me, I can almost get hyped up because, hey, look at how I'm growing. Look at what I'm doing. I'm not the same scumbag that I used to be. I'm not still the same taker that I used to be. Like, I'm actually showing up for other people. Well, guys, I got to tell you something. The more I'm finding out about me, the awareness is great. The insight, the clarity, the understanding, it is awesome. But the more I'm looking at me, the less impressed I am. Because I realize it's really not about me at the end of the day. And so the self-knowledge only takes me but so far. And so I'm real clear with the 10-step, it's important to take a look at me, but don't get stuck on this grand me that's not doing the same old behaviors that he used to do. One of the things with the 10-step that I'm also getting in touch with is I'm reminded of how my character defects still show up, you know, by way of my attitude. So for me, when I look at the attitude that's defective, how I can be grandiose, how I can be self-righteous, how I can have this self-pity attitude or the victim attitude. I can go way big, guys, or way small. And then my behaviors can show up manipulative, or oftentimes what I'm finding out that I really don't like about me is when I look to avoid conflict in my marriage in particular, because I just don't want to deal with the fussing one night. Or is it going to take us to a place where it's nothing but silence, you know, around here? I would rather some kind of dialogue. Tell me whatever you want, even if it's going to hurt. But the silent treatment, like, I don't do good with that. So sometimes what I'm finding is, like, it's important for me to be working with my sponsor. It's important for me to work with my mentor to be clear about, Rob, you still get to show up and have the difficult conversation, even though it may bring about whatever kind of result. So how about you stay more focused on the here and now, which takes me into, you know, the 11th step. And, you know, the 11th step is we sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out. You know, and the spiritual principle with this one is awareness. So like, I require perception checkers, guys, because sometimes I'm not aware of what the hell is going on with Rob. So I require a sponsor, a home group, my mentor, and people in the program to really let me know what's going on with me. So I require perception checkers. I want to tell you that through prayer and meditation in and of itself, like I have this great keen awareness. However, a lot of times what I experience is it will direct me to someone that will give me the clarity that I didn't get, or I will hear a song in a way that I didn't hear it before, or I'll hear someone speak in a meeting and it'll click. So sometimes the awareness is not something that happens right in the moment of that meditation. For me, prayer is me talking to the God of my understanding, and the meditation part is Rob getting quiet, being still. And what I'm finding is, like I was walking through the mall yesterday, I don't like the mall during the holidays, y'all. Like it freaks me out. I don't like the parking lot or anything. But I told my wife, I was like, man, I'm getting ready to go into the parking lot. And she said, well, we're going to go into it with you thinking you're going to get the perfect parking space and everything is going to go smooth. And I was like, what a concept. I'm often talking to people about being intentional about what you do. And here it is. I'm all negative, getting ready to go into this mall and parking lot. Got a closed parking space. And literally, it was almost like nobody was in the sections of the mall that I was in. I was just blown away. I found myself kind of leisurely meandering through the mall. You know, now the mall can be a dangerous place for me because I want to spend impulsively. You know, my head is on the swivel. I'm looking at her. And what is she wearing? And oh my God, she's wearing next to nothing because this is South Florida. Like I'm talking about me. And sometimes that's why I get nervous. I'm like, oh boy, what is Rob going to say tonight? Well, the only way I know how to share is to be honest and real about, you know, what's going on with me and what comes up for me. But again, I believe as a direct result of regular prayer and meditation and talking to people that are in my network about what's going on with me, I was able to go through the mall with a focus and really with a sense of calm. You know, I look at step 11, you know, as free yourself from yourself, you know. And you know, Ed talked about us using our language here. And sometimes we need to drop some mother, father, sister, brothers, you know, and it just comes out like that, you know. And again, you know, if that's what you got to do to get free, then get free, you know, because this isn't the time to play patty cakes with this disease, because you best believe this disease did not give a damn about how many years I had at that Christmas party a little while ago. And I made sure I got my water out of the cooler. I didn't have anybody pour me no soda, no crap like that. Like I take care of my recovery. I'm not looking for anybody to do that. You know, the host there will say, hey, what can I get you? Like, I'm good. I'll get it for myself. Today, I don't even get caught up. You know, people say, hey, you don't drink? No, I don't. And depending on where I am, I'll tell them straight out, I drank enough for you, your mom, your dad, everybody here. Like, I'm good. I had plenty, you know. So again, with step 11, it grounds me in getting real clear on who Rob is and what his journey has been like. It's about how can I stay in connection and communion with the God of my understanding so that I can be available for whoever is, you know, entering, you know, my area, you know, where I might be. One of the other things, you know, with step 11, one of the things that I have found, you know, looking at 10 and then looking at 11, I'm a creature of habit, and it says it directly in the basic text. And guys, here's the thing about me being a creature of habit. It makes me very vulnerable to my old way of thinking and reacting to things. So time doesn't necessarily, just because I did a step 6 and 7, just because I did a step 3, and like I'm real clear, like it's not Rob's will, it's God's will, and I'm turning it over. Like I get to do it over and over and over, and sometimes many times over again. And it's not even noon yet, you know, because I'm so jammed up in me. So being a creature of habit, vulnerable to my old way of thinking and how I react to someone that I think spoke to me in a disrespectful way. Like, who are you to talk to me like that? You know, so I'm real clear that when I get quiet in the morning and I set that up as my routine for the day, it allows me to engage people differently. So I can be at a Christmas party and not be jammed up if someone were to ask me. These, you know, particular associates, because only a couple of them maybe friends. I used to be so quick to say, well, yeah, I got all these friends, but like I'm realizing now, a friend is somebody that's really gonna get in the ring with you and grind it out when the good, the bad, and the ugly Rob shows up. So I have few friends, but I have a lot of loving and caring people in my life today. You know, I consider Skylar to be a friend today because we've gone through some crap together. You know, we can talk about what's going on. You know, so that's not a word that I like to use lightly. But when I'm grounded in the morning, like I can go anywhere and be okay. Yo, when I'm not grounded, somebody can cut me off and I'm trying to follow them into the parking lot. Like that happened a few months ago. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? My sponsor had me on an assignment, and I'm gonna slip into step 12 in a minute. He wanted me to drive the speed limit for 1 month. I was like, what? I said, well, was there something that I did, you know, to bring this up? And he said, no, my sponsor asked me to do it, so I'm asking you to do it. I was like, all right, you talking about getting in touch with some character defects. Man, you try driving the speed limit for a whole month. My wife got in the car with me one day. She said, are you still doing that assignment for your sponsor? I said, yeah, baby, we're going to get to our destination when we get there. But man, I can't tell you guys that some stuff did come up for me, you know, as a result of it. And again, when I'm not grounded, when I'm not rooted, man, it's me against the world. And that was one of the things that assignment showed me, how Rob can be against everybody. And I don't even know these drivers, but I'm looking at them like, you're trying to get in front of me. You're trying to beat me to the first spot, you know, to the red light. Seriously? As if I'm going to save so much time. So again, you know, I'm finding that even with driving, how the 11th step really set me up to be at peace and more at harmony with people around me. So, you know, again, step 11, it says here in the basic text, it's about emotional balance. And it's one of the first results of meditation, and our experience will bear that out. One of the things with step 11, also part of my story is, I went on this religious zeal years ago when I first came into the program. It was all about, you know, the God of my understanding and going to my place of worship. And I was like, man, these people in the rooms of recovery are a bunch of hypocrites. Like, I don't need to be here. And I found myself, you know, in my place of worship on New Year's Eve, bringing the New Year's in, you know, with God, only to go get some wine that night. And I should have known something was off when they only had a little bit of wine left. I was like, man, that's not going to be enough for the night. And I'm thinking, it's New Year's. How do you invite me over and only have a little bit of wine? You know, so that's how I know, hands down, like, I'm an addict for real, for real. And that's why I continue to work the steps. But it was the religious zeal that ultimately told me, you know what, you're normal, you're okay, you can drink like a gentleman. Like, and I don't do anything, you know, just one. You know, that's just not my makeup. And I'm real clear about that. So here we are sliding into step 12. And I say with step 12, this is where the rubber meets the road. I get to really apply the spiritual principles in all my affairs. But here's the thing. I got to get in touch with, you know, step 1 and the honesty that goes along with it. And with step 2, I get to get some hope. And in step 3, I get to get some faith and get grounded. And with step 4, as a result of looking at myself fearlessly, you know, I get to develop some courage. Like, it's okay to get to know Rob. And with step 5, I develop some integrity. Like, you know, what I say to you guys now, when I turn the screen off and my wife comes home, like I'm not a different guy. And in the step 6, we're talking about the willingness to, you know what, like take my hands off the wheel and say, you know what, these defects are hurting me more than they're supporting me. And, you know, when we talk about step 7, we're talking about the spiritual principle of humility. Like, okay, like, I don't have the juice that I thought I did. Like, I really need something greater than me to remove this. Like, I've done all I could. And that's almost like the paradox of this program. You know, they say we can only keep what we have by giving it away. And, you know, and all of a sudden, if God is supposed to remove it, then what am I supposed to do? But like, we're working in concert with God, or I'm working in concert with God. And now by the time I get to step 6, 8, we're talking about brotherly love. Like, I'm making peace with everybody that I've harmed. And in 9, we're talking about, you know, having some discipline. Like, I don't go to making amends any old kind of way. Like, I get some guidance. And then as I said before, in step 10, we're talking about some awareness. Perseverance. In 11, awareness. And now I'm in 12. I've set myself up because I've taken a look at not only having written the steps, but how do I apply these spiritual principles in my life today? You know, how do I show up and be of service to somebody and it not be all about Rob? Like the guy at the party tonight, he said, Rob, you know, you and Donna don't have to bring anything. You guys just come. But I was like, why not bring something, you know? So I still brought something there. Like today, it's not about me showing up and saying, hey, the party's gonna start now because I'm here. Because that used to be my mentality. Like, we get ready to have some fun. And then I would proceed to take their liquor, you know, like I'm not living like a taker every day all the time. But guess what? I'm real clear. You ask my wife, some days I'm still a taker, you know, and I can think I'm floating on water and she's like, what is wrong with you? You know, so I'm real clear that like with step 12, being of service is more than just, you know, me going to an H&I commitment or me sponsoring someone. I can practice this in all of my affairs. And so, you know, Ed was talking about, you know, something that I shared with the party that we had, the little luncheon. I did that because, you know, my dad used to share this little story all the time. And maybe one day when it's a different format, I can share it with you guys, but like, it's my way of sharing my dad, you know, because he wanted to see other people smile and laugh and it not be all serious all the time and not be all religious, you know, because usually I will say the prayer at our Christmas luncheon, you know, but I was like, let me shake it up a little bit. You know, I can be of service a different way. I can share and show love a different way. And so for me, you know, that's what this journey is about. I want to get ready to shut my pie hole. The last thing that I want to say for me for step 12 is there is a God and I'm not God. For a long time, I worshiped so many other idols and gods. And as a result, my ability to be of service was really self-serving because it was really about seeking approval and making sure you liked me, you know, because one of my idols was your accolades, you saying how awesome and how wonderful you are. And like some days I don't feel like that. And the days that I am helpful to people, like I'm eternally grateful, but like I'm real clear, it's a God that's working through me. And you know, it was God's grace, believe me, that picked my dusty butt up one day and said, you know, let me plant you here so that you can have a different life. And today I'm real clear that it is truly his amazing grace that has kept me, because left to my own devices, guys, with my old ways of thinking, I can think myself right out of here again. So it's his amazing grace that keeps me and allows me to stay grounded and connected and be able to show up, you know, for meetings like this. I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for your time. I'm out of minds.
That concludes this episode of Friends in Recovery Saturday Shares.